Hey, hey, everybody. It's me, Queenie Brown. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank God it's Financial Freedom Friday. Today, we're going to be talking about something very, very close to your heart and close to mine. So let's think about it. Are you working for the worst kind of cash flow? With everything that's going on these days, we're watching jobs close, we're watching the unemployment numbers rise and skyrocket. We all have to recognize that perhaps there's something else that we could do. There's some other way of generating a method of cash flow that can help benefit our families, our savings, and our legacy. So today, me and the Kingsmen are going to talk about it. Let's go on and get it going. All right, I want to introduce our Kingsmen. Say hello, everyone, to Mr. Dwayne Taylor and Mr. Donovan Yarbo. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We are excited.
What's going on, family?
Hello, hello.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, yes. Well, I'm excited about today's conversation, and you guys had brought to my attention the fact that there is an idea called the worst kind of cash flow. So let's talk about it. What is the worst kind of cash flow?
I'm gonna send it over to the captain tonight, Mr. Yarbo.
No, sir. I'm sending it back to you. What is the worst kind of cash flow, Mr. Taylor?
We're going to fight about it. Do I need to call on people now? Y'all being too gentlemanly passing it on.
I would say it's like a 17-hour tennis match.
Right.
No. Okay, so I'll go ahead. So I would say, this is my perception. I would say, well, let me make this disclaimer before we even get into it. So this platform, this family, it's for looking for the dreamers, right? It's for the people that are looking for a way out. We're looking for the ones that are the sleeping giants, the ones that don't realize they've been in a program but are starting to wake up to that program and want something different. It's not for the person that wants to stay stuck in the program to keep doing the same thing every day. It's so funny. Sometimes I'll talk to people. I'll be like, what's going on, man? Oh, just another day. And it hits me so hard now when I hear that. Like, just another day. Like me and Mr. Yarbo was talking about, like, you're not looking forward to no dreams. No, nothing. It's just another day. Like, you're not moving forward towards anything. Right? So do you want to stay in that? If you want to stay in that, then just keep living in just another day. So we're moving to the other side where the land of make-believe, right? Yes. Because they try to sell that as something that's not real, that it's a fantasy, but the land of make-believe is a true land. It's a place of the imagination, because the imagination is where everything is created for anyway. Because if you really want to break it down, we'll go into my side. It all starts in the mind anyway. Yes. Right? The way you relate to money is how you relate to it on the inside of who you truly are, right? I heard this one guy say, do you have happy money, sad money, or angry money? Like, when money comes to you, what is it? When it touches your hands, what does it turn into? Is it happy money? Is it sad money? Is it fearful money? Is it angry money? What type of money is it when it touches your hand? Is it scarcity money? So when we talk about the worst way to make cash flow, I would say the worst way is to truly work a 9-to-5 job. Not belittling jobs, right? This land of make-believe is not for everybody. We understand that. We get that. But once again, we're looking for the people that say, hey, I don't want to stay in the box no more. I really feel my true colors are over in the land of make-believe. So how do I get there? How do we build that bridge from the box to the land of make-believe? So I truly believe that working a 9-to-5 is the worst way to make cash flow, because the reason we say that is because you're literally exchanging your life, your time, your energy for a product that's not even real, for something that has absolutely zero value, for something that is used to keep you in bondage. You're working for a instrument that is designed to keep you bound. So when you're working a job, you're only working to stay in your own enslavement. The only way you get out of that enslavement is you have to find a system that uses leverage, right, to get out. That's the only way you get ahead. If you're only working a 9 to 5, you are always stuck in their system of debt. Always. You never get ahead. You never get out. Why? Because they don't pay us enough to live the life we truly want. Why do you think we have a FICO score? That's the only reason why we have a FICO score is because we don't make enough money to actually live the way we want to live. We got to live on credit, right? Because how many people could just go out and buy a brand new car and pay for it full? How many people can go out and just buy all their furniture, just pay it? Ooh, let me just pay that off. I mean, not too many people can do that. Most people are not too many people can just go buy their house, right? That's why we got mortgages. That's why we got car payments. That's why we got school. That's why we don't make enough money working a 9 to 5 to live in the land of make-believe, right? So we got to use that creative space. We got to use that imagination to either build something of ourselves or humble the knee and connect to somebody that already stepped in the land of make-believe, created something for us to latch onto that we can leverage for a while, right? While we're speed, we're learning. And then if we choose to let go and do something on our own, then we can do that. But at least we were like hanging on to somebody while we were gathering speed, and then we could finally let go and create our own. So that's what we're going to be talking tonight. And we're also going to be talking about how that runs into the wealth cycle, right? Because most of the time when we're working a 9 to 5, we don't participate in the wealth cycle. We participate in the debt cycle, right? Because we're working a 9 to 5. So I'm going to pass it on over to you, Mr. Yarbo. You can go ahead and pick it up.
Oh, man, that was a good analogy that you kind of started with grabbing somebody's coattail until you get your momentum up. And that's basically what I'm doing, following you on this is, I grabbed your coattail while you got the momentum and kind of laid the foundation for the stream tonight. Are you working for the worst type of cash flow? Do you really understand what cash flow is? One thing that I recall from one of my best mentors and someone that I've never met personally, but Robert Kiyosaki, he says that financial literacy is wrapped up in understanding 6 words, and that's assets, liabilities, income, expenses, and cash flow. If you can understand those 6 words and properly control the cash flow, then you're on the road to being wealthy. One thing that Mr. Taylor said, and I want to bring the analytical side to it and really kind of ground it, is make believe. What I understand from that is those that can make their belief their reality. And most of us are living in the land of make believe. We believe that we're not worthy. We believe that just enough is enough. We believe that me and my household is good enough. So that's your reality. So you're living in a land of make believe, but resonating on a very low level of abundance. Well, this channel, this stream, this tribe is for people that operate on a higher level of abundance, whether you see it manifested or not. That's not the important thing. What you see in front of you is not the important thing. Is what dreams may be. Can you dream it? Can you imagine it? Can you see yourself with it, having it, being it, doing it? Then it's possible for you. Nothing shall be impossible to those that believe. So we're on this stream to help you believe in a higher level of abundance, in a higher level of cash flow, and understanding that trading your time for money, exchanging your time for cash is not the highest way. It's the way that will keep you in bondage and not even know it. I read this week where Mark Twain is quoted as saying, it's harder to convince a fool that he's been fooled. I'm paraphrasing. It's like when you believe something for so long that this is your truth, it's hard to get you out of that. But you're on this stream, you're getting this signal because you know that there's something greater for you, something better, and you're ready to pursue it. You're just looking for somebody's coattail to hang on to get you up to speed, to give you the momentum to launch out on your own. Well, welcome to your launching pad to get you off of that 9 to 5. Not saying that there's something wrong with it, but it's not the best way. So if it's not the best way, why would you continue down that path knowing
the statistics that say that 95% of people that walk that employee path fail. They end up broke, needing charity, waiting on Social Security, waiting on a handout, needing to live in their kid's basement, or needing to stay with somebody, have a roommate, instead of living their best life. Retirement is not an age, it's a dollar amount. And we're here to help you figure out what that dollar amount is for you and to start pursuing it. Put the goals down, put the dreams down, write the vision and make it plain. Over to you, Mrs. Brown.
Say that. Write the vision and make it plain. Because the truth is that, we look at the 9 to 5 because that's what we've been programmed to trust. We don't want to trust in our own ability to create. We don't want to trust in the God in us that is the Almighty, able to create and build whatever it is that we have on the inside of us to build. We have the capacity to do it, and we're working for someone who has the capacity to do it, but not believing in our own ability. And so we've got to separate ourselves from the idea that it can't be done through us. Because it can. There's all kinds of ideas we've all had. God has dropped all kinds of ideas, witty inventions, suggestions. My daughter gave me an invention the other day, and I'm going to follow through on it. We'll see how it unfolds. But you guys, things are coming up all the time. Wisdom is crying out in the streets. So if we could just tune in and listen and get clear about what's already in us, what gifts do we have, what talents are there, what abilities, what skills, what insight, what experiences could we draw from to create our own avenues of revenue? Because it's out there. It's possible. That land of make-believe is just really a matter of you deciding to believe. So I'm excited about this conversation today. I'm excited that we are thinking outside the box and recognizing that you can't trust in a 9 to 5. We are all 20 million people, probably 30 million by now, are looking at a 9 to 5 now thinking, I should have planned ahead. I should have had something in the bag that could have supported me in case something like this happens. And, nobody could have expected this, but the point still stands that we have the capacity within us to make some changes. What's that grin for, Donovan? You look like you.
Because I'm reminding Mr. Taylor, I think he might be frozen to smile.
Oh.
he got to be frozen right now.
Uh-oh. Remind him to smile. Oh my goodness.
Because he caught me today in a moment. We were talking and I just had a scowl on my face. And he was like, D, man, through it all, smile. And as soon as I smiled, I felt the right energy flow right through my body, flow right back through my body. My physiology through it all produced the outcome that I needed. Looked like Mr. Taylor is
he's back.
Coming back with us. So you there with us, Mr. Taylor?
Yeah, I'm there. Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you. Before you jump on though, I want to say something because the people need to recognize this. What happened to you, Donovan, is your physiology. When you smile, you are literally triggering chemicals to be released in your brain, feel good chemicals. When you frown, you're releasing feel bad chemicals. So sometimes you have to smile just to help jumpstart that process. I know that's a kind of an aside, but yeah, that is true. Physiologically, you have a happy button, and it's called a smile.
All the smile, and it's so easy.
Yeah.
When he said it, and I mean, we still had the same conversation, but now I had a whole different attitude about it.
Yeah.
There was almost like optimism as opposed to being pessimistic about it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it from a negative light. I saw it from a positive light. Knowing that as we continue to talk, as we continue to sow these seeds, it's going to fall on good ground.
Yes.
And even if it falls on stony ground or thorny ground, that ground can also be cultivated and made better. But not to stop throwing these seeds. We're never going to stop throwing these seeds. We're never going to stop telling you about financial literacy and about dreaming bigger and thinking bigger and seeing yourself bigger.
Yes.
Wherever you see yourself or you think now is still too small. Think about the wildest dream you could have. That's still too small for what your God has for you. And I don't want to preach. I know one thing that I wanted to talk about the cash flow is that the cycle of our cash flow. The cycle of our cash flow is truly, we send it to die. We work so hard to earn it, and it immediately goes into two of the columns that I spoke about regarding your financial literacy. It goes right into liabilities and expenses. We work hard for the income, and we immediately send it to places that are dead. places that don't rejuvenate, places that don't bring are not fertile ground. They're necessities. Some expenses are necessities. Some liabilities are more wants than needs, but we never get to the needful things. So even while God is blessing us with the witty inventions and the ideas and things like that, we still have to have financial literacy, because and I know, and I hate to use them as the consistent kind of whipping boys, but professional athletes, they have made a lot of money, a lot of cash flow. And we know that the statistics say that 75% of them end up broke. They end up not in the same lifestyle that they enjoyed for the 2 to 10 years that they were playing their professional sport, that they made millions. Why? Because they never got financial literacy. Not only not having a dream, they fulfilled their dream to become a professional athlete and make a lot of money, but now they didn't know how to put that money to work for them. All they knew how to be was an employee, even though they're a professional athlete. But as soon as their body said, I can no longer be this type of employee, the cash flow stopped. So we have to be financially literate to start, so that while we're being the employee and getting that cash flow, we know how to put that to work to help propel the dream, to help propel the additional streams of income or the additional avenues of revenue, as Mrs. Brown loved to say on this stream. Over to you, Mr. Taylor, if you're back with us.
I think I'm back. Can y'all hear me?
We can
Yes,
hear
sir.
you, but
Yeah,
before
my
you say
Wi-Fi.
anything, Kitty
Go
from
ahead.
Canada said that she started making pickles and her company is taking off. Go ahead,
Awesome.
Kitty. That's what I'm
Right.
talking about. I love it.
Man. Hey, I got a quick story about pickles. So back in high school, man, Donovan, so you know where Buford Highway is, right? So
Yeah.
we rode our bikes one winter all the way to Pleasant Dale Road up there by Gwinnett Mall on bikes, right? Me and my boys and one of my friends' dad used to work at this place, and they always had big kosher dill pickles. As soon as I got over to the house, I was free. I was like, "Yo, let me get one of them kosher dill pickles, man." So I just love them kosher dill pickles. So congratulations on that pickle factory.
Right.
And that's what it's all about. I was gonna say something spurred up in me when you was talking, Queenie, is because when we're in the system of the schooling system, it doesn't really draw out of us those gifts and those talents. It only looks for the analytical type of talent. It only looks for the analytical type of gift. Those who are smart with remembering information and can regurgitate and take tests really well. So if you're good at that, then yeah, you stand out. But if you're that creative person, you're the weirdo, or you're the black sheep, and those gifts and talents aren't really being nurtured. So as we move into this stage of adulthood, we don't believe we can do it because nobody's ever told us that we could do it, right? Because we've never had an opportunity for those gifts and those talents to truly be expressed, right? Because when you did start talking about that, what did they do? Oh, that's just a dream. Stop daydreaming. That ain't never gonna happen. So people shot us down from the giddy up, right? Because that's the way the system is designed. The system is designed to make us workers. And like Mr. Yarbo said, yeah, we can have an excellent job. You can be a football player. You can be an athlete. You can be making millions of dollars. But once that cash flow stops, it's a wrap. It's over. Now what are you going to do? A lot of athletes are getting smarter now. Look at Shaq. Shaq got over 150 restaurants and all this other stuff. So a lot of the athletes now are getting smarter and be like, okay, yeah, I have to move from being an athlete to become an entrepreneur. Why? Because entrepreneurship is the best place to make the most money. Why? Because it's based on your merit. It's based on your effort. It's based on your belief in you. And if we're going to bet on anybody, man, let's start betting on ourselves. And I know it's challenging. Look, because let me break something down real quick. If you really stop to think, this is what I really want you to think about. Are your thoughts really your own thoughts?
Let's go there.
I promise you right now, your thoughts are already a pre-programmed. They're already pre-programmed thoughts until you take a conscious, deliberate decision to start viewing how you think, you're thinking somebody else. Your entire life is is it a culmination of other people's thoughts. You're not Your job that you're working at is because of somebody else. The way you dress is because of somebody else. The things you do is most likely because of somebody else. It's because of the TV showed you what you were supposed to be, do, or have. You're not even thinking with your own thoughts. So we need to get right there first, and then we can begin to tap into that creativity and go from there. But once again, that's not taught. That's taught as being spooky, or you got to be, oh, that's that deep stuff. Why are you going so deep over there? It's not deep. It's part of who we are. It's the other half of our brain. It's the other half of our system.
Yes.
But we live in a system that is totally disregarding that part of the overall system. Over to you, Mr. Yarbo.
Oh man. So many strong points, man. That brought to remembering something that I was thinking about with regards to dress, our clothes. I mean, we look at the artistic people and what they wear is, oh my God, that's so weird, that's so crazy. No, it's so true to them. Why? Because they're not bound by the corporate standards or bound by what anybody else thinks. I'm free to be me. So the way I wear my hair, the way I shave my face, or the way I cock my hat is based on how I want to do it as the free thinker. And that's what artists are. What's the other word you were using, Mr. Taylor? So you got the analytical side and the
creative.
The creative. The creatives are free thinkers, and that's what the school system wants to beat out of you. They don't want you thinking freely. They want you to be conditioned. They want you to think exactly how you're supposed to think to be an employee. Whether you're a high-paid employee or underpaid employee, it does not matter as long as you're a cog in this wheel. And granted, there are some callings on people's life to be that assistant, to be that help for someone else. That's what they're gifted with. That's where their creativity shines. Not just their analytical side, but they're able to be creative in a space where, what, this person can't handle all the details of their life. That's why I'm here. I'm here to fulfill that role. But we're always fulfilling a role that just simply provides cash flow for us. Is it over 80%, 85% of people that work a job that they hate, a place that they hate going to? Imagine that. Every day you're going to a place you hate going to, and now something like this happens in the world that was unknown to you, and now you can't even go to the place that you hate to continue your cash flow. And now you're searching, scrambling, looking. Well, it's time to stop looking, searching, and scrambling and start doing. Start taking action, no matter what the smallest step is. And for us in this stream, ultimately what we want to get you to is understanding that we want to be on the road to wealth. And the road to wealth doesn't start until you start acquiring assets. Financial literacy begins with understanding what assets are, what liabilities are, your income, your expenses, and the cash flow. Which way is the cash flowing? For most of us, the income that we have is our only source, our job that we have is our only source of cash flow, and that cash flow flows right to the expenses. So it doesn't have time to nurture us, to water us, to replenish us before we're right back at that job, not having enough. One statement that I hear a lot of people in my business say is, you have too much month left at the end of the money. Meaning that your monthly income is not enough to suffice for your monthly expenses. So we got to change that, and not change that in I got to figure this out. No, change that in let me find out what successful people are doing and start to emulate that until I find my own lane and my own speed. Now, since you just wet your palate, Mrs. Brown, over to you.
Well, that was good. Let me start with a comment. Gracie said, what you said about these jobs not keeping you anymore for 30 years during this shutdown time, I thank God he gave me a home-based business right before they laid me off, and I didn't miss a beat. In fact, I was able to stack all of that money that's coming in from everywhere. Guess what? I go back to work in a week, and all that money will add to the stack. I already started building since this pandemic. Praise God. That's wisdom. That's smart. See, you could have sat back, Gracie, and decided you were going to just hold on to the job and not focus on building that extra stream. And now look where you are. So
Amen.
good job. Good for you.
Mhm.
Thank you all so much for commenting and chatting. If you guys want to join the conversation, please feel free to. I'll be reading and watching as we go. There's just so much richness. There's so much richness in this, and you're right. You have to focus on your mindset, and you have to just get clear that I am going to find out what the people who are thriving are doing. What are they doing? What's different? Why am I having to? Guys, y'all blew my hair back with this, thinking about the fact that I'm just literally distributing my money to the people I owe. I'm not allowing it to serve any purpose in my life other than keeping the boat floating. But I'm taking what I earn and I'm handing it to someone else. And that's a whole mindset. That's a program, like you said. And we've got to break out of that and recognize that it's important to, as Mr. Pay Yourself First says, pay yourself first. It's important to take that money and put it into your own pocket, that first pocket, and then pay everybody else, because that's the only way to start to build. And so I'm learning as we grow and go together, and y'all are helping me too. So just know, everyone, we have not all arrived. We are on the journey together. We are just deciding as a family we're gonna hold hands and walk this walk together and learn and grow and build until we all get to our wealthy place. Okay, gentlemen.
And let me back up one thing Mr. Jarbo said too about the assets, and this is what we need the family to hear. So Gracie, amen, congratulations on the home-based business. So let's add to that, and let's begin to get you acquiring assets, right? So the assets we deal in are gold, silver, and cryptocurrency, because right now that's what we can obtain, right? Because most of us don't have millions of dollars to buy fine artwork. Most of us don't have millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands to get oil or buy oil well or something like that, right? We don't have enough money to go out and buy land right now. And before this company, a lot of us didn't have $1,500 to get an ounce of gold, right? But now we're in a position where we can get gold as little as $7, $8, right, for a tenth of a gram. So that's what this platform is all about. This platform is teaching people to not only pay themselves first, but when you pay yourself first, exchange it for an asset, because wealth accumulation is all about one word: assets. If you're just saving paper dollars to save paper dollars, I'm telling you now, you're losing. So what do wealthy people do? Follow the path that has been, like, there's this park I go to, right? There's these people that walk now. Now they have a path that goes around. So I can either walk through the thick grass that hasn't been cut, or I can walk through the path that's been laid down by the ones that already went over it and circled it and circled it and circled it, and it makes my path easier. So what have the rich people told us? What have the wealthy people told us? And let me stop right there, because I just felt a sensing in my spirit that people connect wealth or rich with people who are bad or not good people. And that's an issue you have. You have to check that, right? Because that's not who you have to be. Not all wealthy people, rich people are a-holes or whatever you want to call them, right? That's something on a deeper level, and we could talk about that another day. So what we want to do is, when we talk about being rich, when we talk about being wealthy, that's empowerment. That's nothing to be ashamed about, right? They make being rich and being wealthy, they try to shame you for wanting to be rich and wanting to be wealthy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to be rich and wanting to be wealthy. If I asked you an honest question, would you rather have not enough, just enough, or more than enough? Which one would you choose? And if you choose anything other than more than enough, something's wrong with you, period. So you telling me you'd rather have not enough for your family, or barely just enough for your family, or more than enough for your family? You got to have more than enough. So that means we got to start shifting our mindset to the rich and the wealthy. And once again, the wealthy collect assets. So we have a simple system that allows us to do that. It's free to join. You sign up for free and you start acquiring assets today, tomorrow, as soon as you get them documents approved. It's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. Me and Mr. Yarbo, we started reading books. We started looking at information. Oh, this is what the wealthy people do. Oh, they take the cash that they make from whatever sources, job, business, side hustle, what? Oh, and then they start putting it in assets. Oh, then those assets begin to make more cash flow for them. Oh, okay. How do we get our hands on assets? Oh, gold. Okay, we can get gold and we can get silver. Those are assets that we can collect today. So that's what it's about, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're seeing this stream at any time in the future, or if you're watching this stream now, get with Queenie, myself, Mr. Yarbo, whoever shared this information with you. We'll get you started on acquiring physical assets so you can begin to truly build wealth. And the wealth truly isn't, if it's for you if you're single, but if you're not and you have family, you got children or nieces or nephews, you can lay it up for them. Mm-hmm. Like Mr. Michael Delco said, I never came from a wealthy family, but a wealthy family is going to be birthed out of me. Go ahead, Mr. Yarbrough. That's it for me. Those are my closing statements.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're wrapping up, and that explanation, and it seems so simple. It seems like too easy to be true, but it really is that easy. And it's the first step. It's the first step on the path to building wealth. The richest man in Babylon, there I go quoting that book again because I read it just about every week, says that the first cure for a lean purse, meaning broke, is to start thy purse to fattening. Well, how do you start it to fattening? You got to keep a portion of what you earn. The richest man in Babylon says, I found the path to wealth when I decided. I made the decision that a part of everything I earned was mine to keep. Not all of it, because you have to pay to play in this world. But a portion was mine to keep, and I keep the first portion so I don't miss it. So I don't look up and I've paid everybody else, and I look up and there's nothing for me but some food on the table. That's great. You may have to fast one day, but make sure you start building your wealth, because that sacrifice, I don't even want to call it a sacrifice, it's a seed. The sacrifice is like I'm losing something. No, a seed is I'm sowing something with the potential and the expectation for a harvest. And that is what we do. We do what the wealthy do so that we can get cash flow and wealth and riches out of the way as being a need, so that we can truly be who we are. This thought came to me today, and I'm going to finish with this, and this is going to seem so crazy and off the wall. But there's a young heiress in our society who was named after her parents' favorite city. And her last name is the hotel chain that her family runs. So she didn't work for any of the wealth that she inherited. And she became a socialite just because of her name. And she was cute. And she had money to go, do whatever she wanted to do whenever she wanted to do it. Well, you know what she ended up doing? She ended up becoming an international DJ. How? Because she had the time to dedicate to it, because she didn't have to worry about where the cash flow was coming. Well, guess what? You're not an heiress. You're not an heir of some major royal family or some major Fortune 500 company. So you have to get cash flow out of the way so you can truly be who you are. And it could be done simultaneously. While you're on the road to wealth, you can still be pursuing your passion. It's not either or. It's not a seesaw. Well, I got to do this, so I can't do this. I got to do this. No, you can balance your life and be in pursuit of both your passion and making sure that your family does without. Because I heard one story from one of my former pastors that spoke of a artist who didn't want to get a job to feed his family because he was an artist. Well, his family's starving. Your art's not selling, or it's not producing the income to feed those babies. So you got to swallow being an artist and go produce some income while still being an artist. The income doesn't take away from it. The jobs that I work today don't take away from my wealth building. Don't take away from me consistently building wealth, consistently paying myself first. You want honesty? You want truth? I did it today. I acquired gold and silver. And today is not even a pay week for me. But I said it's Friday and I'm going to pay myself first, just because the muscle is worked. I've developed the muscle for paying myself first, and you can too. Take the first step. Over to you, Mrs. Brown.
I gotta get some muscles myself. Y'all, thank you so much for joining us today. Oh my gosh. As always, it was a rich conversation. Be sure to, in just a moment, I'm going to add a link in the comments so that you can create your own free account and start saving assets. Pay yourself first. Save your own self some gold, some silver, and keep it. Hold on to it for your family. And again, the last thing I want to remind you to write your vision and make it plain so that when you see it, you can run with it. This time is a blessing in the midst of the crazy, and take advantage of this opportunity so that you can come out of it stronger, come out of it more powerfully, come out of it more wealthy. All right. Thank you guys again.
And let me say this real quick
Yeah.
too, Miss Queenie,
Go
before
ahead.
we get
Go
off.
ahead. Go ahead.
Hey y'all, when you hold silver and gold, it's magical. Like there's a difference between holding silver and gold and holding paper. Like the energies are totally different.
Mhm.
When you hold silver and gold, it's like it's really weird, but it's almost like you connect to a part of yourself.
Hmm.
Like that's what it for me. That's what it feels like. It's like I'm connecting. Like I'm connecting to that royalty side of myself. It's something about it when you hold that gold and silver. Because if you look at ancient times, it was gold and silver that was truly seen as wealth, right? That's where all my memory comes from when I think of wealth. Like when I see gold and silver, that's the first thing I think about is wealth. So Mr. Yarbo has some of that gold and silver in his hand right now, and I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, start acquiring. And I promise you, tell me it don't feel different when you start putting these two things in your hand, and tell me it doesn't make you feel some kind of way, because it does. Because when you start getting that little bag of silver and it starts sounding that certain way, and you hold the weight of that gold, man, it truly is magical. And yeah, I'm just glad that I truly found this path, and I'm so thankful and grateful that I get to pass this down to my seed, and he gets to take this knowledge and education and pass it down to his seed. That's it for me. I'm out.
And just to kind of, in agreement with what you're saying, when we first started talking, we were talking about the dollar, the value of the dollar. And right now, with the printing of all the money that's being printed right now, everybody's getting bailed out. Guess what's happening
Oh,
to the value of the dollar? It's tanking. And we don't see it now, but we will in a year or two, maybe not even that long. It might be by the end of the year. But the bottom line is the value of gold is going to hold its value much, much, much more strongly than the dollar ever could. So, all right, y'all,
oh, sweet.
that's it for the day. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank God it's Financial Freedom Fridays. We'll see you all next week. Be sure to forward this to your friends, tag your friends, make sure that everybody is getting informed. We need to have that financial literacy so that we all can rise and become exactly who God created us to be. All right, thanks so much. We'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Y'all
Bye.
next week.
It starts with you. It starts with you. It
Yes,
starts with me. Say it. It
it
starts with
starts with
me.
me.
It starts with
It
me.
starts
God
with
bless
me.
you all. I
God.
love it.
Bye.